Alright, please excuse the noise in the background, the dishwasher's going. I'm gonna make a quick video on how to make Sumac-Ade. So this is a kind of a strawberry lemonade-ish type of flavored drink made from Staghorn Sumac. It's a very common plant where I'm at, and you see it all the time. Very easy to identify. Doesn't really have any lookalikes per se. All there are is that there is a version that is a different color and a different shape. It grows down, not up. For now, we're going to go through the process of making Sumac-Ade, or Cherokee lemonade, or Indian or native lemonade. It's actually very good. You just need the berries or the fruit from the Staghorn Sumac, and water, and honey or sugar.
Okay, what we have here is Rhus thyphina, or Staghorn Sumac, and it has tons of medicinal as well as some edible properties. And one of the edible properties that we're going to try to take advantage of is making a kind of a cool drink out of this. This is midsummer, August through September, and you often see the skeletons on the side of the roads as they darken in color and fall off. So we want these little flowerets or drupelets, these little berries. This is what we're going to be using. This is what we're going to need. Culinarily speaking, sumac can be some species, and we'll try this species as well maybe one time, but some species are used in Middle Eastern, Mediterranean cooking as well. You dry out these berries, and you crush them, and you use the red parts on it as a spice. And I've used it as a spice, but it was commercially bought. Tasted really well on this chicken that we made in this Mediterranean dish. So I'm going to harvest a few of these berry drupels, as we'll call them, right here and right here. This is what it looks like afar, so you can kind of see it on the landscape. You probably have seen it already, just didn't know what it was. And it's a little bit high up for me, some of them, so I've got my little cane here to help pull some of them down, and I've got my snippets to kind of snip them and put them in my basket. Now I'm using my phone to film this, so let me put the phone away while I harvest some of these.
Okay, so what we have here is Staghorn Sumac, and again, it grows, it's like this nice burgundy color that grows upwards and kind of usually like in a horn shape like this, and on like a tree-like shrub. You can usually see this. They ripen in August, mid-August through mid-September, and then they turn to be a little bit of a brown color and a darker color. Wintering birds will eat them. Will eat these little seeds that are covered with fuzzy hairs. There, and the fuzzy hairs can contain, I believe, ascorbic acid, which provides vitamin C. So it is good for you, and it gives it a tangy taste, which is what we want to transfer into our water. We can make tea out of it, but we're going to make Sumac-Ade. So I'm going to just kind of take some of the seeds here. I want to kind of just drop them in the water, okay? And there's many different ways of doing this. Some people will break apart the seeds and everything and put them into warm water, not hot water. Warm water. Hot water will make this bitter. So you're really trying to just extract the tanginess from the seeds, like so. Okay? And we kind of bruise them up so they transfer their essence into the water. And then some people will let that, once they do that, they'll let that water sit for a couple of hours or overnight. Others will use warm water to extract. We're going to kind of do both, to where we'll let this sit for a couple of hours after breaking the berries into the water here, and then we'll remove the stems and stuff like that. We don't need the stems in there, but we'll just take the time to kind of bruise the berries into the water and let this sit for an hour or two, and then we'll heat this to where the water is very warm, and then we'll strain everything dry. So it's a pretty easy process, and I'm not giving any exact measurements, you know, how many drupals, like a bunch of this we'll call it drupal, and how much water and that. This will all be to your taste and experimentation. Let's see here. I'm just going to kind of smash and break this in here, and then we'll let this sit for about an hour. Now you don't want to harvest your Staghorn Sumac after a rain, because the water will wash away what the constituents that you need from the fruit of the shrub, of the tree. Okay, so usually a nice sunny day is the best time to harvest, in other words, or at least a dry day. Now these seeds have been known to be dried up and ground into a powder and made into a spice in Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cuisine. I've tried it from commercially bought spice, and it's actually it's wonderful. It's very nice, and we may give that a try, some experimentation, see how that happens in another video. But yeah, we just want to kind of bruise this really well in the water. Alright, so this has been sitting for about an hour, probably 2. I'm just taking my potato masher and I'm just going to even macerate some of the drupals and the berries even a little bit more. The water has changed a little bit. What I do want to do is take some of the big stems and kind of cut them off, because we don't need that in there. Take some of the big stems off of here. Okay, and then now the next step is to heat this up. Now again, I'm going to say it over and over again, not to boiling, but warm. Not to boiling, but warm. And we'll get there. So as long as we macerate these, take some of the big stems off. Now I'll put this on probably about medium heat so I can monitor it. If I put it on fast heat, it'll start to boil before I can catch it. Alright, so we've heated this up and we've made it warm. We didn't boil it, we didn't make it hot. Okay? I gotta stress that. So we just want the essence of the berries. So now we gotta strain this out. So there's many different ways to do this. I'm just gonna use a real simple method, and we will extract the juice. And then we'll add the sweetener. Okay, so after we've had our Staghorn Sumac berries kind of sitting in warm, you know, it's been sitting a bit in a minute, or after it's warmed up, then we want to strain it. And so all I do is I'm just taking a cup, and I'm using a coffee filter. You can use whatever you can figure out. I'm not gonna make it a base thing, but notice the color. Notice the color that's come out, right? Strawberry lemonade-ish color. And then using this strainer, which is really what we want, then it'll strain away, and we just give it time. And then sometimes I back it up with more filters to make it a stronger base, and of course change them out. But however you strain them, that's up to you. Being out in the wilderness, straining it might be a more difficult thing. That's probably another project to begin with, but this is the concept, right? So once we strain this, we want to get just the pure juice, then we're going to add the sugar to it. We're going to add the sweetener to it. Because there's a lot of tannins in there. It's kind of tangy, bitter, if you will. So I'm replacing the filter with one that I already threw out. It just wasn't it wasn't going to do very well. It wasn't filtering anymore. And it's probably about 3 or 4 that I'm using as the filter if you choose to use commercial filters. So just pour that in there. And this is the second jar. And we might have to go through another filter set, but we should be good. Okay, once you've been able to skim all of the components, we're going to kind of warm up the juice again, and we're going to add our sweetener. I'm going to add honey, probably about 2 cups, a cup and a half. I don't want it too sweet, personally. And that's pretty much about it. And then we can jar these up and package them away and eat them on ice, or drink this on ice, or however. Okay, so I'm gonna add about a cup and a half of honey. I think that's what should work for this batch. Again, it's to your taste, so I'm not going to give any exact, measurements and all that. I'm just going to provide a little bit, probably just even a cup should be good enough. I don't want to make it too sweet. And then you can always add sweetener to whatever drink you want. So there's the honey there. Just gonna add it over to the pot here. Yeah, it's probably even more than I need, to be honest. Yeah. This is just heating up. So I don't want to and you see how the color has changed. It's very beautiful. Very beautiful garnet color. Taste a little bit. Yeah, I don't need any more honey. I'll take the rest of this honey and pour it back in here. It's sweet enough. So we'll say 3/4 cups of honey, but again, you add to your taste. So for the most part, I'm going to close this all up, and then when this cools down, because I heat it up a little bit, we'll distribute it back into the bottles for storage, and we'll be done making Sumac-Ade.